Renaissance was more than just painted brushstrokes and marble carvings. It was the brushwood change itself. From the 14th to 17th century, Europe witnessed a profound reawakening of human creativity and innovation. My name is Haley Thomas.
My name is Isabel Hackett.
My name is Kat Troutman.
My name is Marcus Rivina Lopez.
My name is Elizabeth Briseno. How did religion impact Renaissance art in the 15th and 16th century? It profoundly influenced the manner in which individuals conducted their ordinary existence.
Paintings were not the only type of art portrayed in the Renaissance. There were also other types of art like pottery, sculptures, and architecture like churches. Here's an example of the Sistine Chapel ceiling where it is the ceiling painted, it's the painted ceiling of a church. You can see all the different colors on the ceiling portraying all these different Christian paintings.
Perceptions of beauty were affected. According to perceptions of beauty in Renaissance art, Florence developed its perception of beauty with its unique architecture. Some examples of this were its straight streets, tall angular buildings, and color. This caused construction workers to develop mathematical ratios because they wanted to make sure that the buildings were symmetric and proportional. So you can see in the picture above, it's the Florence dome, and you can see that the architecture was very abstract. The picture below, you can see the Florence streets and how the buildings were very close together. Results of this change. This caused a lot of different opinions throughout the community and religion because Christians liked the religious sculptures because it idolized their religion, while atheists had different views of what God looked like. They didn't know if he was a man, a woman, black, white, or if he was just an idea. As you can see in the creation of Adam by Michelangelo, God is portrayed as a white man.
There was also an increase in artistic distinctiveness. This included rises in new techniques like fumato, chiaroscuro, perspective, foreshadowing, and realism. According to Maya Corey, a university professor, she says the artistic technique of fumato lent painted figures a naturalism that made flesh soft and alive, encouraging a fully sensory response in the viewer. Artists also had the intention to evoke response from their viewers. Leonardesque artists knew that their representations could make effects on the viewers, and so they'd always try to encourage the eye of the spectator and the effect that they wish for the figures to make. The painting on the left-hand side shows a painting from the medieval era, where you can see that there's not much technique into it, as the painting on the right shows the technique of fumato, which is the light colors, and the technique of perspective, which makes us understand that the mother and her child are at the center of the painting and to show that she really loves her. The art also defied common church perspective. As you can see in the painting here, Salome, the girl, is receiving the head of a saint, which isn't something that the church would want to portray.
Rise of inhumane practices. Although slavery was bad, it did bring the religious beliefs and cultures of those slaves, which in turn fueled up enough of the artistic minds to create different art pieces based off of the ideas and beliefs of those slaves. Another thing that was spent a lot on was war. War was a huge part in a lot of things that happened around Europe at the time, which, although did cause a lot of cracks in the economy, it was good for the minds of artistic writers who would come up with different ideas on their ideas of what the war would look like. The Battle of Anghiari by Leonardo da Vinci is a good idea of what war would look like in the minds of artists who maybe had seen what was going on at the time and what they thought about it.
Humanism is the belief in human possibility. People believe that other people should be educated in classical art, literature, and science. They also believe that God gave them purpose and that you shouldn't blindly follow a religious plan. There was also a distinction between humanistic Renaissance culture and repressive Reformation culture. To add, ideas had a big influence on people. The picture shown is Raphael's The School of Athens. It's a room full of important philosophers at that time, like Aristotle, Aristotle, Plato, and more. Plato, in which is holding originally a Bible, but the name of the book got changed to a book about humanism called Timaeus. There was a rise of religious conflict as well, like the 30-Year War, which was a war between Roman Catholics and Protestants, and it changed religious views today. Questions also arose about religion during that time by people. The picture on your left is by Andrea del Verrocchio and Leonardo da Vinci, and it shows how Jesus, and it's the baptism of Christ. It shows how Jesus was worshipped and now he was portrayed as a higher power. And the picture on your right is by Andrea Mantegna, The Triumph of Virtues, and it shows how the God's really not getting paid attention to by the people below.
To conclude, perceptions of beauty, artistic distinctiveness, and inhumane practices and ideas were affected. Without these changes, movements like Reformation would not have occurred, and we wouldn't be able to appreciate Renaissance art in the world we live in today. Thank you.
Sorry we don't have more applause. Scoot together, if you would. Not close, because we're already super close. Just scoot together. Elizabeth, we'll start with you and work our way across with the questions. First up, reflecting on the work of everyone in your group, which one helped you best understand the Renaissance?
One that helped me best is Isabel's push to humanism, because it showed how it affected us and impacted us even as like today.
Okay. Next up, what's an example of a compelling argument from one of their IRRs that you guys didn't use in the presentation, and why?
I would say there were some of Kat's ideas that we didn't use simply because there was a lot of similarities between Kat's argument and Elizabeth's argument that were simply just too identical to use.
Okay. Kat, what's a way in which your team's resolution, your conclusion that you just said, makes you think differently about the research you conducted?
So it makes me see things from different perspectives, not just only my own, and it helps me get a better understanding of what art was like in the Renaissance.
All right, thank you. If you had a sixth member of your team, what theme could they bring that would add to the overall project?
They could bring medical perspectives by doctors.
All right, and if you, oh no, I already asked that question, sorry. Last, Haley, describe an argument from one of your peers' individuals. Describe one of their IRRs and how it made you think differently about the conclusion you guys came up with.
I definitely think that Marcus's IRR about like slavery and inhumane practices really changed my perception on like how we concluded our arguments, because we didn't really do any research on the negatives as where he did, so that gave me like a new perspective.